Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit about ankylosing spondylitis. Ankylosing spondylitis, believe it or not, has been found in Egyptian mummies. Apparently they found mummies in Egypt that have had bamboo spine, which is what happens in the later stages of ankylosing spondylitis, which I have. I have typical what they call bamboo spine. I guess we'd have to start this when I was a kid. I used to be very into sports. I used to, do diving. I was on the Little League team. I used to love to run. I ran track all through elementary school, and that's when the problems started. They started first with a little bit of water on the knee. My knees would get sore after I ran track. Could never figure out why. Always put ice on it and it would get better. Or, I'd go to the school nurse and she'd call my mom, and my mom would take me to the GP, and, he said, oh, it was nothing, just growing pains, or, maybe he's just running too much, or maybe he strained it. Wrap it up in an ace bandage. Sometimes they'd put me on cortisone for a while, and things would get better. It just kind of went on like that for a while until I got into high school. When I got into high school, I started having sciatic problems, and lots of really painful episodes of burning, in your butt. It like wraps down around the back of your leg, and you just want to cut your leg off because you can't imagine what the pain is like unless you've actually gone through this. And it's funny, people will say, oh, I know how you felt, I pulled my back once and, it hurt for a week, and, or, I tore a ligament in my knee and that hurt. And that's about how I would feel on a good day. On a bad day, I would have pain in my knees, in my sciatica, in my lower back. And this is, as a teenager. When you're a teenager, all you want to do is run around with the rest of your friends and do everything else that they do. And you find out that you can't, because you have all these physical limitations. You're in pain all the time. You can't sleep. And, at that point, growing up is just hard enough. So what happens? You end up being a bad teen. You end up doing drugs and drinking and, running away from home and doing all kinds of crappy things because you're mad at the world, you're in pain all the time, you can't sleep, and you have no idea what to do. And you go to doctors, and what do? They just look at you and say, it'll go away. Take an aspirin, here's a Vicodin for, a day or so. Or, put you on a muscle relaxant. They'll give you Flexeril for a week. Take that and see how you feel. And then, of course, you go into remission. The bad thing about this disease is it comes and goes. So you can feel fine for weeks, months, sometimes years. And then all of a sudden, bang, it hits you. And that's kind of like the biggest emotional letdown, because here you think you finally got this beat, you're okay, life's getting good, and then all of a sudden you get broadsided and you're back to square one. And the constant ups and downs, especially when you're a teen, it's so hard. It really is. It's unbelievably mentally, physically draining. It's an emotional roller coaster ride. And you lash out. You lash out at your friends. You lash out at family members. You lash out at girlfriends. You take it out on everybody. And that would sum up my teen years in short. It would be way too long to tell you about 2 divorces and 3 moves, and all in the middle of that, and aggravation and stress can actually make the disease worse.